Are you ready?
I am ready, John.
This is take two, but nobody knows that but us. John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge, go through one set of lights, pull a Yui, park in the street. Music store, red neon light in the window. You can't miss us. Like and subscribe, tell your friends, be on the show with me, have your own podcast. Dave will tell you how. You could have your own show here in our beautiful studio. We're here today with drummer Scott McDonald. There he is.
How are you, John?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing really well, thank you.
I don't remember the last time I saw you.
My goodness, and I'm going to say maybe at James's memorial.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, James Velvet. Yeah, that memorial was a few years ago.
It does. It goes back now. And it's like, oh, my God, has it really been that long?
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it's sad.
It is sad.
Yeah, the world is not a better place without James.
This is very true. But, man, he left a mark, and he left a legacy. And, a lot of people are better people because of him.
Yep. I think so. I think so. But, yeah, Scott, drummer, we've crossed paths for years, kind of, right?
Weaving in and out, but only really talked to each other a couple of times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the drummer thing. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know the other drummers because if I'm playing the gig or I can't play the gig, they're playing it. I'm not going out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally.
So,
yeah,
but it's great to finally talk to you like this, And
why not? Why not? That's what we do. Cool. So tell us what you're doing now of note musically.
Yeah, what am I doing now? I'm playing. We were just talking downstairs. I'm playing maybe 2 to 3 times a month with Dean Falcone and Jeremy Lichter. That's one thing, and then Frank Annunziata, and you're one of your best buds, Tom Izzo.
Total creep.
What a guitar player, my God!
Yeah.
And the unorthodox.
Yeah, crazy. Woo. Yeah,
I am impressed.
I went to. I was in Brantford. I had the day off. I was kind of goofing around. I went to a music store in Brantford next to Exile.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I don't know, but I just kind of went in, chatting with the guy. He's totally cool. And I was telling him that I play up, like Tommy, I play upside down, left-handed upside down.
Yeah.
Talking. And he goes, yeah, I know a guitar player that plays like that. And I'm just like, is his name Tom Izzo by any chance? And the dude's like,
of course it is.
Yeah, of course it is.
That's great.
Yeah, the only one. That's funny.
Yeah,
cool.
So I'm keeping busy with that, and I just always want to keep playing. I just to what capacity is the question, but I'll never stop playing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, why?
Exactly.
Why stop? Yeah, totally. So take us back to the beginning. How did this all happen?
Yeah. So, you're going through school and 5th grade comes up and you have to choose an instrument.
And this is where?
I chose the trumpet.
Oh, boy.
And it's 2 days before it starts. And, a bunch of my friends are like, what are you doing trumpet for? Play drums. Everybody's playing drums. Like,
oh, boy.
Get yourself a pad and you're doing drums. So I did the drums because my friend told me to do it.
Yeah.
So I loved it. And, my uncle is a drummer as well.
Oh, okay.
He was doing the wedding circuit back in the day, but always had a kit set up.
Now, where is this? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in North Haven.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And my uncle grew up in Wallingford.
Yeah. Who's your uncle? Do I know him?
His name is Uncle Butch,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know Uncle Butch.
Butch Domain. He goes back a bit, as you can tell, but he had a 1966 Burgundy Sparkle Ludwig kit.
Ooh.
And I got to play it when I was a kid, like a young
That'll
kid.
do it.
That did it, my God. But he would we would go to weddings sometimes and he'd let me sit in. And he had me do this gig on the Berlin Turnpike one time when I was 14 at the L'Avion Rose. I don't know if it's there anymore, but I did Bossa Nova and stuff like that. Yeah. And then that was it,
You're like, I could do this.
Yeah, so my uncle taught me for a while. And then he was like, I can't teach you anymore. So I had to find the next person.
Yeah.
So my mom was taking me around to some places and we went to, Jimmy Stavros and stuff like that. And they were like, no, you got to go back to the pad. And I was like playing kid already.
Yeah, right. You're like, I'm already doing it.
My mom drove me up to Wethersfield to Creative Music.
There you go.
And that's where I met Frank Jaguar. My mom sat in on the first lesson.
Yeah.
I was like so embarrassed, but he's like, who's your favorite drummer? I said, Stuart Copeland. He's like, all right, let's learn this song.
Yeah.
That was my first lesson.
Yeah.
I said, you're my guy.
Wow.
And I was there. That was 14, and I was there until I think maybe 18 or 19.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool. So making the trek up to there, it was worth it.
Oh man,
totally worth it.
You know it. That place was a mecca. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, I'll just never get over how much she taught me and what I still apply this day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Give me an example.
You know, wood shedding, and there was a pattern that he would do, and it was all linear. So it was a pattern. You do it in 5/4, and it's like kick, snare, hi hat, you know, and it was a pattern, and you had to go over and come up with something cool that grooved in that realm. Boy. And that was called the cool thing of the week, if you can come up with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So just kept me on my toes.
Yeah.
But it was great because within that, the confines of creative music, I joined the jazz ensemble that would play.
Oh, cool.
And we'd look at charts.
Yeah.
You know, it was great just playing with really great players, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, creative. That's a trip, man.
Creative was.
Yeah, we realized how
awesome.
Lucky we were.
And that record store next door.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It was cool. I remember Frank telling me, he's like, all right, because you're playing in the jazz ensemble, and have you heard Kind of Blue? And I was like, I'm not familiar, but I know it's Miles Davis. He goes, go next door after this lesson and pick it up. I know it's there. I still have that copy, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I got accepted to Berkeley in Boston.
Oh, wow.
But I never went.
Oh, no. Why?
I think it was Frank's roommate, this guy John. He said there's this band that's looking for a drummer, and they're going to tour this summer. Right before I went, and I got the gig.
Oh boy!
And I talked to my.
And you're
parents.
Like, I don't need Berkeley. I'm going to be a rock star.
I talked to my parents about it, and they're like, "We believe in you. We're going to do. You do this. We'll get you a van. It was a 1979. The Econoline van with the carpet all over the place on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And I went on the road with this band, and they were an R&B band, and we would open up for like Melba Moore and stuff like that. Like circuit, you know, the club circuit. And it fell apart because there was somebody taking money and everything. There I was bandless, and that just got me on my way to like New Haven bands. And, you know, stuff like that.
Wow. So you don't regret going?
I don't.
Were the checks written out and everything, or
it was getting close, but it was still early enough in the summer where my parents, I'm not going to say they were relieved, but they were like, we believe in you, so go for it.
Did you auditioned and everything?
Yeah.
The whole 9 yards?
Yeah.
What was that like? I never did that.
Oh man.
What did you do for your audition?
It was they basically said,
so you go there.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
see where your level is at,
you
know, and they just say, play this, play, you know,
oh boy,
Maranga beat, play, you know, and you got to know it. So
how'd you do?
I did.
Well, you got in, so
I did okay.
Yeah,
you know,
and they were like, okay.
I didn't kill it, but maybe they saw something. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't regret not going though.
Yeah, well, that was the next question. You don't?
I don't.
What do you think would have happened differently?
I probably would have been able to branch out more and maybe travel but I love being home. I'm a real hometown kind of person.
Okay.
So I would.
But yet you got in the van.
I did.
With an R&B band.
Yeah, I went up the East Coast, up and down the East Coast, but going to LA or anything like that was never on my mind.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because everybody at some point, I mean, I never went either. It's kind of the same way. But like, everybody went to LA for a while there.
Yeah, that was a scene, you know, and then there was the New York thing too, but I just couldn't seem, you know, trying to make it all work or, you know. So I was in like 5 bands in New Haven at one point.
Right.
And working at New Haven Brewing Company with Wally Gates and James worked there as well.
Oh, okay, right.
He was a delivery guy. He helped me get the job there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right,
so it was like a musical kind of connection to me getting into the beverage industry too, which I still do.
Wow. So that's how it happened.
Yeah.
So what are the 5 bands?
One was called Catch 22.
Okay.
One was the Jelly Shirts, which I am still a member of, 33 years going.
Crazy.
And I'm thinking to myself always like, how are we still together? And it's because we're all too overly polite.
Oh.
We don't fight.
So you're like, you wanted to quit 18 years ago, but never. Yeah.
But it's still challenging to me because it's music that.
Who is all in that?
It's Brett Logan.
Okay.
He's the songwriter, guitar player, singer.
Yeah.
And Nick Appleby is the bass player.
Okay.
And they both were they worked at Yale, and so there was a connection there. But great stuff. It a lot of people say it's a cross between the Byrds and the Velvet Underground.
Oh, cool.
So
yeah. So that's been around a while.
It has.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was in a band called Conspiracy.
Okay.
Back in the day, and that was when I was working at Cutler's Records.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That was the center of the universe, though, too, in its own way.
It really was, because Toads was right around the corner.
Oh hell yeah!
It was connected in this alleyway in the back.
Yeah.
I just never forget hearing, because the Stones played there, as you know, back in '89. I was working there.
Whoa.
Hearing sound checks.
Oh boy.
I didn't get in to see it, but
that's exciting.
It was pretty cool.
It's one of those things where, like, I don't know what the capacity is of Toads, but let's just say it's 350. There's got to be 5,000 people that have told the story that they were there. You know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was great. So many great shows there, and my brother's 7 years older than me.
Okay.
And I would use his ID to play clubs back in the day.
Oh boy.
And I went to tried to go see the Ramones one night. It was around Christmas time, like 1988 or 89.
Yeah.
And
you were underage then?
Oh yeah. I was 19,
okay.
18, 19 years old.
Okay.
And I give the guy my ID, and he's like, "What's your birthday?" And I said, May 7th. He goes, "No, I didn't know my brother's birthday."
Oh boy.
It's May 8th.
That's my birthday. My birthday is May 8th.
All right, so I'll never forget it now.
You know who else's birthday is May 8th?
Who's May 8th?
Alex Van Halen.
Really?
May 8th. I knew that.
Two fantastic drummers.
Well,
yeah.
But growing up, it was like me and Alex Van Halen were connected.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you didn't get in. That was the end of that.
And I was hearing it too, like.
Oh man.
And I was with a bunch of people, and they were like, "Sorry," and they like disappear into the club, and I'm just walking down the street.
Oh boy.
Yeah, sad story.
Yeah, that happens. Did you ever see I never saw the Ramones at Toads. I wish I did, but I never did.
I saw them at Southern University. It was like outdoors and on a flatbed.
Yeah.
And it was really cold too, but I saw them then.
I never got into them until years later when it was too late. But now I'm like, man, I should have went.
I was there. I was like, no, I hear you.
Yeah, I'm a big Ramones fan.
Cool.
Yeah, I didn't at the time. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know then what I know now. But yeah, I would have. But yeah, that's exciting. Toads, Cutler, you're like right at the center of it.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was definitely a good time.
Yeah. Those were the days, I guess, right?
I guess.
I mean, somebody's having days now. That's what I have to remind myself.
I hope so. And I know rock and roll is still alive and well. And I know people, like I said, I have a daughter. She's 17. And all her friends, they like rock.
Yeah,
they
right.
like rock music.
Right. Sure.
And of course they like Taylor Swift too.
Sure,
but
sure.
I think I might too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I find out with teaching kids, I've said this before, so I got to stop saying it on this show because I don't know how many. But it's kind of like when we were young, it seems to me like what you liked, the music that you liked, put you in a certain tribe, of what kind of kid you were. What kind of. But I don't think it's like that now.
It isn't. It's all over the map.
Right. If they like it, they like it.
Yeah.
And there's not an identity attached to it.
Exactly.
It's cool.
I think that's great.
Yeah. No, it helps for me because I've been teaching long enough. It wasn't all. It comes and goes. You don't want to be the old guy pushing, classic rock on kids.
Sure.
And then you wait a few years, and then they're pushing it on you.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, now this is good. Now we can talk about this
Exactly.
because I don't want to be the old guy telling them what they should be doing. But you got to.
I love having musical conversations with my daughter, and we'll drive.
Yeah.
Go for a drive through Connecticut, and she'll be the DJ.
Oh,
and
that's
she'll
cool.
let me hear stuff like she'll play the Stones and stuff like that, and then she'll put something on. I'm like, what is that? And she turns me on to a band.
Hey,
it's pretty cool.
That is cool. Yeah. No, that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people are doing it. I guess it's just different than the way we were doing it, but it doesn't mean that it's not happening.
As long as it's happening.
Yeah.
And what that looks like, it doesn't. As long as it's happening.
Yep. So jelly shirts.
Yep.
Conspiracy. Who else?
Oh, remember Kurt Carbone?
Of course.
Yeah. So Curtis Michael was his fusion name.
Yeah.
I played with him for, it was a couple of good years.
Yeah.
And I stretched, like I was stretching because I could play. I had some chops, but man, some of that stuff that I was trying to do was past my skill level.
Oh,
you know?
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But it was good. And we played a few times, like the Foundry and Malcolm's back in the day.
Yeah, right.
So that was a good experience.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from Kurt in a while, though. I don't know if he's
I ran
on the Facebook or not. Or
no, I don't think so. I saw him a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He's still around.
Okay.
Doing his thing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hope he's still playing.
Yeah, I think so.
He was a beast on the guitar, man. Oh my God.
Yeah, totally.
And every other instrument he played.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was always the one you would hear about.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely.
And then you would hear it and you'd be like, "Oh, it's true. This guy's a monster."
Yeah. And there's no doubt. And he did it like he'd be talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Doing it, you know.
Yeah.
So funny.
No, he was the one.
I used to love crossbreeding though. So I would say, "Hey Kurt, let's come play Josie Wales with Catch 22," and it was a Southern Connecticut University bar band. And
okay.
He's just playing all those hits back in the day. And
yeah.
He loved it though. You know, it was fun to crossbreed that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's fun.
Yeah, that's cool. So who else, or where does the
the Mockingbirds kind of come into play.
Yeah, sure.
And that was a revelation. I was working at Cutler's when James Wimsatt came in, and he wanted to ask me to play one of the Saturday nights at Cafe 9. They were trying out drummers.
Sure.
And so I said, yeah, that's great. And I asked him a favor. I said, my sister's having a going away party at my house in North Haven, and would the Mockingbirds play that party?
Oh, hey.
And he said yes.
Hey, that's cool.
So we had, Bill Beckett was in the band back in the day, and we had a great time, and that kind of solidified what was going to happen for the next few years.
Yeah.
And man, I learned so much. James was so giving, and I would do vocal practices with him. He had this little office off of Willow Street, and we would just go there for 2 hours and just do harmonies.
Oh wow! Okay.
Not even play any music.
Yeah.
Just do the harmonies, and
cool.
He was so into it, and so encouraging.
Yeah.
You know him, so I don't have to tell you.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, there aren't many. I think I knew only one other person like him that was like a legit writer. You know what I mean? Like he wrote
real serious.
Yeah.
And his heart was
his life is in there.
Place. My grandfather, who lived to 97 in his own house, James got to meet him a couple of times, and one time was at that going away party for my sister, and it was his suggestion to go visit my grandfather on Sunday morning and play in the living room.
Yeah,
my grandfather would break out his Gibson ES 125 and jam with us.
Yeah.
And I had video of this, and
imagine
it was just
that.
Some of the most, I was in tears, and we did it probably 5 times after that.
And James made that happen.
And my grandfather would make food for us, and it was good times.
That is cool.
And to have Johnny Murphy and them show up too on a Sunday morning after maybe we just played the night before. That's a commitment.
Yeah.
So always indebted to all of them,
Yeah.
For giving that experience.
Oh, for sure. No, good guys. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I came, because I ended it.
Yeah.
At Cafe 9, so I came after you, I guess, right?
I know there was a couple of.
I don't even remember how it happened, but I made a record with James, not with the Mockingbirds. He made a solo record with Jim Chaplin. And that's where I met him.
I see.
And then somehow or other, James was like, "Hey, can you make this gig or whatever?" And then it became the thing.
Cool.
For a while, yeah.
So you did a couple of those Saturday nights.
Yeah.
At the 9.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. No, it was cool.
It's great to play that side, not on the stage, and then you're playing and you're looking at the people standing on the stage. And
I know.
It was such a cool scene.
Were you there when that happened? Because that was what made the gig kind of cool.
Yeah, I think what James and Mike Reichbart were really tight, and he was the original Nine guy. Yeah. And he had Blue Barts before Cafe 9. That's what it was called.
Okay.
And James used to play there then, so he was doing it even back then. So that was his spot, you know.
So for people who don't know, we're talking about Cafe 9 in New Haven, which is still there, and it's still awesome. And there's a stage area. If you picture like a long room, the stage is at one end of the room, basically. And when Mockingbirds used to play, we would play on the long side of the room. So we kind of, instead of the stage being here, we turned the whole room kind of sideways.
Yeah, so the bar and people were like right up at you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've had people fall over my drums and knock out half of it while I'm still trying to play and pick up my cymbal and stuff.
Yeah, and that's what was cool about it, because you were, right up in people. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
So James just said, this is the way it was, we're just going to play like this.
Yeah, I mean, he and Mike were really tight back in the day, so it was like, James, this is your spot.
You do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it kind of worked.
I think there were some legendary nights I'll never forget.
Yeah, no, me too.
And the music, because Jim Chapdelaine was playing with us back in the day too.
Yeah, because when I was in it, it was Dick Neal.
Yeah, I played with Dick too, and prior to Jim, it was Bill Beckett. I don't know if you know Bill Beckett.
Mm-hmm. I know the name.
Yeah, he was a New Haven guy, but really good old school kind of guitar player.
Yeah. So, that's cool.
Yeah, it was it was an educational experience.
For sure.
He opened me up to all this music. All those really deep blues numbers and the artists and the New Orleans stuff.
Yep.
I didn't really know anything about it. I know I liked it, but diving into it was a whole different story.
Yeah. No, he's for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always felt like the things that I learned playing with James was like, I guess a lot of things were going this way with me, but, rather than think of drum parts or the style, or like, how do I shoehorn a drum style into this thing? It would be like, I'm just going to watch his hands. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm trying to, because they play together the way they play, and I'm just like, I can't come in and figure out how to fit other than I'm going to move with their hands. Yeah. And just see where it is and go, oh, okay, without even like thinking about what the part was.
That was a good way to go, because I'm glad you weren't looking at his foot, because that was
God. Don't look at the
because that wasn't in time, but the strum was.
Yeah. Yeah, but it flipped my, like having to figure out how to play that gig the right way. It gave me that thing of like, sometimes when you find yourself in that scenario, it's like, well, don't think like a drummer. Just follow what's going on.
Absolutely.
And it was hey, cool.
It's beyond what people say playing for the song. It's beyond that.
Yeah.
But it's
different.
Very cool.
Yeah, no. So, I learned a lot too. It was like, oh, this is a whole different way to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was.
I don't remember. I guess maybe they sold the place, but I went to the end. Like I was there when it ended.
Okay.
I don't remember, because it was a long time ago.
Right.
Whether they just changed owners and we lost our night or what, but it did end.
I know it did sell at some point. And, but I wasn't privy to it. But I did leave at a certain point, just because I was getting more serious with my job, and that entailed a little more travel.
Yeah, sure.
Because of working for a wine company, and you got to go to different markets. Wow. But I joined Mighty Purple for a little bit there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And not officially, but I did an album in '99, and then we did this tour. I think it was like 32 shows in 28 days.
Wow.
And that was a great experience too,
Yeah.
But coming back with moths in your pocket, I was like, all right, great experience, but got to get a little more serious here.
Well, yeah, I'm still waiting for that part. That's okay. That's all right. Yeah. No, Steve's been here. I've had Steve here.
Oh yeah,
Steve was here. Yeah, it was great.
He's always been great and such a treasure for the scene.
Yeah.
From even when he was a little kid, like he had those ambitions.
One of a kind. Yeah.
Yes.
Him and his brother.
Oh, he and his brother. Yeah. I just remember them.
Yeah, I had my stint too.
Yeah.
I was in there too.
Okay.
Point. Yeah.
So we definitely crossed.
Yeah. 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 It happens. Yeah, that's cool.
Definitely.
So what about Dean and who? It's Jeremy, right?
Yeah, Jeremy.
Yeah, okay.
The man with the golden voice, man. I swoon like a lady when he sings. He's just got that voice, and he could sing anything so well. And Dean, Dean's one of those guys that I worked at Cutler's with him.
Yeah.
And he's just always been there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like really helped me along, even not even knowing it, but we've always played together, and this and that and whatever have you.
Yeah.
It's always been a blast. And
yeah.
No, love the guy.
Yeah, Dean's the best. Yeah, he's been here too.
Yeah.
And you know him. It's like I invite him to be on the show, and he shows up with like 3 Sally's pies.
Of course.
He shows up.
Now I feel like
no one could ever. We can't. No one can.
Plus, those pieces don't travel very well. You got to eat them there, I think.
Yeah. No, he did a good job though. he took it seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That pizza thing, like I actually played on the soundtrack.
Oh, cool.
For the
that's
for
cool.
The movie.
Great flick. Yeah. I really thought it was cool.
Gorman Bechard is so
I learned
a
lot from watching that. You know, I just was like, wow.
The editing and how it flowed.
Really cool.
Yeah, just the right amount of celebrity touch too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because I forget, I don't know if people are gonna listen or not, but so we're talking about Dean Falcone. He gets involved in a lot of things. So he wrote the score. Is that what you would call it, or whatever? Did the
soundtrack
music,
score
soundtrack for a flick called it's Pizza a Love Story? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Is that what it is about? New Haven. We're in Connecticut. I think everybody that's listening knows that we're in the state of Connecticut, and New Haven pizza is the thing. People say that we have the best in the country, and who made the flick? I don't know who made
Gorman Bechard.
Okay. Yeah, great flick. It's probably on streaming now.
Yeah, I saw it on an airplane ride to San Francisco one time. I was like, I've seen it a million times. I'm watching it again.
Yeah, it's great. I thought it was cool. I mean, obviously, I watched it for the novelty of like, oh yeah, hey, Dean did the music, and this is New Haven, and it's cool. But actually learned a lot. I was like, wow,
the history of it.
Yeah. What I thought was amazing about that was how one of the things I took away from that flick, where they'll ask. I mean, I guess more or less the movie is kind of about the big 3, like Sally's, Pepe's, Modern, more or less.
Right.
And like, so they'll ask like, what is the secret? Like, what is it? And they don't know. They're like, I don't know because I only know how we do it.
Yeah.
And we don't change anything.
That's right.
It could be one element. It could be the humidity in the building. Like, we don't know.
Exactly.
So, but I just think it's funny because, like, if you don't think about it, you think they know what they're doing. They know what the secret is. Like, and it's just like, I don't know because I don't know how they make pizza.
Right.
And then they say that, like, anyone who works there, they learn from the people who make it. They don't want someone that already knows how to make pizza.
No.
They just teach you from...
blank slate to get it down right.
Yeah, just so crazy.
It is
that continuity.
It is.
I never thought about it, but I was like, so they don't even know what the secret is. They just know that like it works, so don't change anything.
Yeah, I just hope because now it's people are hearing about New Haven. I hope because of the expansion, I hope it doesn't water it down.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, growing up in Wallingford, and I mean we have good pizza. Everywhere still. I mean, I have.
There's always a good spot in every town.
Yeah, I have my hometown spot that I love.
Yeah.
Napoli, shout out.
There you go.
Napoli. But that was the big thing. Take the ride into New Haven and get in line.
Oh yeah, and in Worcester Street, it's like you don't know. It's like this is a really cool area. You
know
what I mean? And
great. Yeah,
it's like you're not in New Haven.
It's good stuff.
It's all very old school.
Yeah. That was a thing.
Yep,
definitely a thing. So you played on that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was so happy that he asked me, and it was just he's like he would send me the songs with the little click, and then I had I'm not living there anymore, but I had this walk-up attic that had a studio in it in my office, and I would just lay it down, send it to him, and that's how we did it. Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, far out.
Yeah.
Wonder what else. Is there anything else coming? There was something else. There was the Replacements movie, right?
Yeah, he did that prior to the pizza movie, and there's no replacements music in the documentary.
Oh, so you had
a lot cheaper to do.
Right, sure.
So it's all interviews.
Yeah.
But that's cool too. Yeah, all his stuff's worth checking out. And I think it was A Dog Named Gucci.
Okay.
Which is about rescue. The whole rescue scene. Yeah. And that's really cool too.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, far out.
Yeah.
So you playing with them when the need.
Whenever, and then I play also with Mike Savino.
Oh yeah, sure.
Who's been around the scene. I don't know if you probably have him up here. He'd be a hoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I played with a million different incarnations of bands with him, and I still do.
Oh, cool. Well, mention it to him because I don't know if he's aware of the show.
Right.
So this is how it works. So like I'm shy about hustling people. Like I ask people that already know about the show, and I didn't know that you knew, and then you commented on Frank's, and I just was like, gotcha. Now I know that you're on the radar, and that's why. You know what I mean? Because like I don't know who, how far the tentacles go. And,
gotcha.
And you were in my mind,
right.
But I'm like, if people don't know what the show's about, it's kind of hard for me to sell it to them, to go, oh, you're going to come and hang out. But like, so I never know who's aware of it. And
I've definitely caught a bunch of your podcasts.
Okay, cool. Well, then it worked out. But then I'm like, but as soon as, I keep track, as soon as someone comments that was on my list, I'm like, boom.
Yeah.
So that's how it happened.
Mike Savino coming up next.
Savino.
Because he goes back, and then there's people he's played with you'll have guests for miles.
Yeah, but can I control him if he's here? That's the problem.
No.
That's gonna be the problem.
No, but maybe, put another mic over here and have a camera that moves around.
Yeah.
And then you got him.
Yeah. No, that would be great. Yeah, I just didn't know. So now he'll know. So now if he is aware of the show, I'll reach out to his punk house.
I'll make him watch this episode, and he'll be like, oh yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. No, perfect. Yeah, no, I think that would be good. That would be good anyway. All right, that's cool. So we got that done. That's nice.
Yes.
All right, cool. And then playing with Frank and Tom.
Frank and Tom.
Yeah.
And Dean's the bass player.
Yeah, right. So that's it. Yeah.
And that's fun just because they do this group of songs that I've never played with any other band.
Oh, wow.
And it's so diverse. It's,
Yeah.
I don't even know the names of some of the artists, but it's pop stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll put a little, rock kind of touch to it and try to get it across.
Yeah, they're like the best singers in the world. Those two. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They sound so good together.
Yeah.
And they're like, you got to sing harmony too. I'm like, do I really have to listen to you guys?
Yeah. That's cool. So you were always a singer too. It sounds like.
Always sang backup, and I'd
cool.
sing a couple lead tracks here and there, but few and far between. But I always love harmonizing with people and doing it while you're drumming. I always Levon Helm's like one of my heroes.
Oh, okay, we'll get into that.
A good part because he sang his ass off and his drumming was so old school to the bone. I love it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree. I always tell the same freaking stories, but I was the right age. I had an uncle who was in the music business. He was like a record promoter, worked for Capitol Records. He worked for every label eventually, but when I was a little kid, and he would send promos, and he worked for Capitol when I was born. So I had the band records and the Beatles from day one. Wow. So like band was like the first music I ever heard. So I thought that's how drums went. Like I didn't know, you know what I mean? Between that and the Beatles, I was like, what else? It's
like everybody must swing like this, right? And then you hear something else, and
and you're like,
that's not so true, is it?
Yeah, they're not doing that.
Yeah, you were spoiled.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Early on.
I actually, that's what I mean. I got lucky. I didn't do it on purpose. And then later you're like, oh yeah, no, I was right there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Ringo, and then Levon, and then I had. Everybody, I have to stop telling the same stories. So that's one uncle on one side of the family. I have another uncle on the entire other side of the family who's a musician, and he used to cross paths with the Hawks before Dylan picked him up.
Oh,
so
wow.
he knew them from back in the day.
Yeah.
So it would always be like, hey, this is your uncle's friends, or this is this band.
Right.
And one time he he was on the road himself, and we're from Pittsburgh, so he visited us, he was crashing with us for a while. Then he went to go back to Pittsburgh, and they didn't hear from him for a while. Mm-hmm. And then people in Pittsburgh started calling, and he was at Big Pink. He's like, oh yeah, I went up to see Lee and the boys, and and he was up there for a while.
Was that Saugerties or something?
Yeah. And then the other time he said he went out to LA when they were doing the second album.
Right.
And like my uncle's funny because he's not a nerd like me. Like he doesn't know the history,
right.
But he was there. He's like, yeah, they were like in a pool house in the back, and I'm like, yeah, I know all about it. I know.
I've heard every single story.
Yeah, and he was there.
That's awesome.
He doesn't even know. Yeah. So anyway,
pretty cool.
Yeah. So I was lucky. Yeah, Levon's. That's like for me too. That's like where it starts. Yeah, crazy.
Got that.
And I never believed it until. Well, I mean, I did believe it, but then I finally met Levon in the 90s. I was 8 to the bar. We opened for him.
Yeah.
And I finally got to roll up on him, and I said, hey, do you remember Pecky from Pittsburgh? He's like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it's actually true. It's funny. Anyway.
That was a good way, because usually approaching you, if you say, oh, I'm a big fan, get out of here, kid, you know?
Yeah.
But, hey, you know somebody.
No.
Yeah, we opened up, Mockingbirds opened up for the band at the Palace Theater in New Haven.
Nice.
That was was an amazing night.
I bet.
Yeah.
Must have been.
I didn't get to meet anybody, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just forced my way in.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I was it just dawned on me, like I was watching, if you're into the band, there's a documentary that's kind of like Robbie's side of the story.
Okay.
What's it called? Once We're Brothers.
Yeah.
It was really good. But then, I was like watching it, and I'm just like, oh shit, they're all dead except for Garth. Like I was like, oh damn, like this is the end.
I know.
The end of the story.
Right.
Very sad.
It is.
Kind of like the Ramones, all dead. Motorhead, all dead.
I know.
You're just like, oh.
You don't see it coming, and you just, and then it's too late, and it's like, wow, they're all gone.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But that music, that's always going to be there.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful part.
Yep, for sure. So what's some of your favorite music stuff that got you started, that got you into it?
Yeah, like early on, my dad was so into music, and he had this great, back when Fisher made good stereos.
Sure.
And it was a Fisher 400. I still have it.
Oh, cool.
But he would just crank Dave Brubeck.
Yeah.
Like really loud, and that's what's like the band was in the room, you know what I mean? And he would also play like Percy Faith stuff.
Oh, cool.
But it was like Black Magic Woman.
Oh, cool.
He would crank that, and he'd just sit in his chair, and I'd be laying on the floor next to him, with like laying back on the dog.
Sure.
And we'd listen to the whole album.
Hey, that's cool.
It was, those are some memories, Yeah,
right.
But that was my earliest kind of experience with music.
Yeah.
But just
what? And so that drums, just because 5th grade, they're like, you're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I had a toy drum set from Sears when I was 7.
Yeah.
And I always could play. You know what I mean? Like you just sit down, you're like, I can do this kind of.
Figure this out. Yeah.
But for some reason, when I got to choose the instrument, I was like, I always want to play trumpet. That's a really cool instrument.
Yeah.
Never touched it, So.
Wow.
But.
Yeah, I was the same way with bass. Like I could play drums, but I wanted to be a bass player.
Right.
I wasn't that good.
You still have the same bass that you did back in the day?
I do, but
That's
it's not playable. But I do.
No?
I do.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to get it playable someday. But I still play bass, but I'm totally mediocre. It was just drums were easier.
You might think you are, though, but
I know I am. But.
You hear bass players who think they're good, and it's like...
Well, I fall in the category of, like, I'm not good enough to make mistakes. Like, if I learn something, I just learn it.
Yeah.
I don't know enough to go fishing.
Gotcha.
Just like,
there you go.
Whatever. But, yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah.
And then, so once you started getting into finding your own way to drumming, who was it that really turned you on? Stuart Copeland, you were saying.
Neil Peart was early on. Of course, it was like, you couldn't escape him.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, it was like he was everywhere.
Yeah.
But Stuart, because Neil loved Stuart's playing.
Right. Well, yeah.
And I didn't know that until later. But I mean, the Police stuff, every album is just so incredible. I know they did a book. Somebody did a book with Stuart, and they wrote down on staff like all his playing, and they actually added in those delay parts as part of it.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is.
It's like, I got to get a delay unit now and try to match.
Yeah, right. That's crazy.
But I always wanted to play like him,
Yep, sure.
But then I got into the, always the Ringo thing and the Levon thing, but just drummers who can just lay it down. Keltner.
Yep.
I appreciated them as I went more so than flashy guys.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah,
that's where it's at.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree. Oh man, I was gonna. Oh, you know what? I think it's. Did you ever notice this? Like now that I'm an adult, I'm like, oh, now I know what I'm hearing. It sounds to me like I wonder if anybody would ever address this. Someday when I have Stuart Copeland on here, I'll ask him someday. But I'm starting to realize as I listen back to the Police sometimes that they overdubbed drums sometimes. Like I knew something was screwy.
Yeah.
And now that I listen back, I realize why they did it. But like if you think of like to do, da da da, right? So you know that they're in such a hurry, they're just playing through it. And they get through and they get a take, and then Sting probably goes, I want to go, gun, like to do a drum hook that he didn't play. And you can hear, because sometimes I'd be like, because I would get confused. I was like, he's playing a flam on the snare with
but there's a cymbal.
Right.
Hit so, like, not like,
right.
It's more delicate, but it makes an accent.
Right. But I would never think.
How the heck did he do that?
Right. And then when you know that there's delay, you're like, because that's step one. You go, you get older and you go, okay. And now I listen back and I'm like, no, that's probably how they did it. They would just overdub whatever the hits were.
Right.
And that explains why, like, oh, that's why there's a flam on the snare plus a cymbal. You're like, I'm sitting here trying to figure out.
And you forgive him because you go see, you heard them live, and it's just like, okay, he can do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He can nail it.
Did you see the Police? I saw them twice.
I've never seen them.
Actually, I lied. I saw them 3 times then because I saw the reunion too. So I saw him on Ghost in the Machine tour.
Oh, 81, 82.
And I was behind the stage.
Oh, that's
and
that's where you want to be, right?
It blew my mind.
That's awesome.
It blew my mind. I never saw Sting because of where we were sitting. I just saw Stuart from behind and Andy.
So
and Sting.
Probably the best Police show ever, right?
It was perfect. Yeah, and that was when I was like, I don't understand the delay thing. You could kind of see it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so there's notes that he's not playing. No, I couldn't figure that out.
Right.
I'm like, wow.
Now I'm curious because you were behind the stage. He was known. Stuart was known for having an air conditioning unit behind him.
I don't remember that. But probably, yeah.
Because I'll never forget. It was like this.
I wouldn't have noticed that. No, I just don't. I don't think I would have noticed that.
Yeah. There was this book on Peisty cymbals, and it showed all these famous drummers like setups.
Yeah.
And here's Stewart's and 2 splashes, and it's him, and it says air conditioning unit.
Oh,
that's funny. And I read about it, and I asked Dean Falcone, I'm like, is that true? And he's like, it's actually true.
How
he knew somebody who...
He always knows somebody.
He knows somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah.
Who knows everybody in the world.
Well, that's what I joke with my wife. I called Dean Yoda. Like whenever like a Beatles thing or something, or I need a fact.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta call Yoda, and I'm like, yo, so what's the deal with this or that? And
that's great.
Yeah,
and he knows.
Oh yeah, he does know.
Yoda knows.
He always knows. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see the air conditioning unit, but I bet you it was there.
I bet.
And then I saw the Synchronicity tour.
Oh, cool.
REM opened, and we were like, boo! Who are they?
Get to the Police, would you?
Yeah. And
Athens, Georgia.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. And that was crazy. Because they were like
they were the biggest band in the world.
I was saying it was the center of the universe at that time. It was like the biggest show ever.
No doubt.
It was cool. And then I saw the reunion show, which was
in 07, was it?
I think so. Yeah.
I heard they released an album like Buenos Aires or something like that, and I thought I really loved. My daughter and I listened to it, and we were like, they redo some of the songs, and I thought that was the coolest thing.
Yeah. No, it was cool.
It was 15-minute version of this, and it was just so cool.
Yeah, it was definitely cool.
Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah, pretty wild. Yeah, I was a total Police freak. When I talked to drummers or even non-drummers about it, It's one of those things like with Stuart Copeland, when you think about it, you go, there's like nothing that you can take from him style-wise that someone isn't going to go, what are you, Stuart Copeland? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's so singular.
Right.
He just like repurposed the drum kit all to himself.
Yeah.
You can't have a splash cymbal without some, you can't. There's just things that we can never have octobands. You can't. You can't do any of the stuff that he
Even
did.
if I saw them used at a pawn shop for $20, I still wouldn't buy it.
Right,
because it's Stewart's territory.
Yeah, people are going to be like, what are you, Stuart Copeland? And then you're going to be tempted to put in licks that aren't, I mean, if I was in a Police tribute, you
know who got away with the octobans though and didn't get the Stewart thing was Alex Van Halen.
Oh yeah,
because his kits were so cool. They were visually stunning. Crazy. Every single one.
Yeah, I see people starting to pick up on that now on YouTube. That like the fact that he designed a kit for every
single tour.
It's crazy,
and it just got more elaborate, but always cool. I don't think he ever overdid it.
Yeah.
Talk about a player, though, too. He swung just like the best of them.
Yep.
And not a lot of people talk about that.
Yeah,
maybe they do. I just don't hear it.
I know what you mean. I guess, it's hard to, just overshadowed by Eddie, but did you ever see Van Halen?
Never. Nope.
I saw them, the reunion with Wolfie.
Oh, okay.
And it was great.
Yeah.
They were great.
I heard a lot of good stuff about that tour.
It was really good. But they made the one album, with David Lee Roth, with Wolfie, and the album is like has its moment, but Alex sounds better than ever. Like that record there's some of those performances are like the best, some of my favorites. I'm like,
cool. I'll have to hear more, listen to it a little bit more. I try to get through Dave's singing.
I know. But he's killer, underrated, totally,
no doubt,
totally underrated. Yeah, he's got the best birthday ever.
Because it really does.
Because it's mine,
Yeah. I mean, it's yours, but he's...
Yeah. Nope. All right. Well, we're getting close-ish. Is there anything that we did not cover that you want to mention or talk about while we have these moments? Because I'm gonna ask wrap-up questions that are going to take us into a zone.
Oh.
But I want to give you a chance to... Yeah, exactly.
I think we covered everything, so you did a great job.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think I might have covered it too much,
Oh, well, yeah.
Maybe revealed a little too much. I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll find out.
Yeah, we will. We'll find out. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Desert Island albums, a handful that you would take with you.
Okay, so if I'm, let me think. They're going to be box sets, and that counts, right?
Yeah,
it's an SK. Yeah. So we'll go with the Beatles mono.
Oh, nice. Yep.
Box set.
Sure.
So that covered that.
Yep.
I'll be good for a few weeks there.
Yep. Well, what's your favorite Beatles album then?
It's a toss-up.
Nice.
I would have. Oh man, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
So many different periods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'll go Rubber Soul just because.
Yeah.
I love those. Every song is just. I weep.
Yeah.
On every song. So we'll go Rubber Soul
for sure.
Let's see. The Zombies, like complete recordings.
Nice.
So it's like and then Wildflowers and all the rest.
Oh hell yeah!
Which is the box set, the ultimate box set.
Oh yeah,
it's like
I got
12 discs or whatever.
Yep.
Because what an album.
Yep.
What an album.
Yep.
And the Heartbreakers were great too. And Stan Lynch is another one of my heroes.
Yep. Me too. Yep.
Even that wet as hell 100%. Snare drum back in the day, but you hear them live, which I've seen them live a couple times with Stan, and man, he and his harmonies, with Tom, oh
yeah, for sure,
So
did you get the live anthology? There was a live,
that's
great.
Can I take that with me too?
Yeah, sure.
All right,
yeah,
so
Stan Lynch.
Those are the albums.
Yep, agreed. Stan Lynch. Yep, all day. Yeah, that's it.
The Zombies box set, the Wildflowers and all the rest box set, and the Beatles mono recordings.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
I got the Wildflowers too. And what I didn't realize is when they did Last Dance with Mary Jane, that was like the last Stan Lynch, but they did like 5-6 tunes during that session.
They did,
that all end up on there.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, cool. It's kind of cool. Like
there's really good video footage of that session too. They're in this big living room.
Yeah.
Stan looks happy. They're playing well together.
Yeah.
And then,
it's like the last.
See you later.
Yeah, the last Stan blowout. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big Tom Petty fan too.
Cool.
Myself. Yeah.
Oh man,
I saw him once with with Steve Ferroni, but it was still great. Obviously.
Ferroni's awesome.
Yeah. Song after song after song after song. Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
And just they kill every song. You know, the tempo is perfect. You know what I mean?
I got the Fillmore thing too. Did you hear that?
97. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh yeah, I've been listening to that a lot lately.
Yeah.
All those covers they did, and oh man.
Yeah, cool band.
Very cool.
Yeah, the coolest.
I'll take that with me too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Be all set.
All right, cool. Desert Island food, obviously.
Desert Island food. All right. So I need a really good ribeye steak like once a month.
Okay, sure.
So somebody's gonna have to fly that in.
Yeah. A drone. Yeah. No
and then I could do seafood.
Yeah.
But I would have to learn how to start a fire.
Yeah.
And like Tom Hanks in that movie about the soccer ball. Was that Wilson?
Yeah.
So and then I'd be good. But seafood. I'm a seafood freak.
Oh, okay.
But then a steak every once in a while.
Oh, okay.
Desert Island also.
All right, that'll work. I mean, you might be taking it too literally, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be a desert island, but you know what I mean.
Seafood and steak though, like to surf and turf. I'd be good for the rest of my time on that island.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Can you think of a concert that you saw that totally flipped your script? That you were like, okay, this.
It was. I can think of maybe a couple. Can I say a couple?
Yeah, sure. There's no rules here.
I was like 9, and my sister, who's 10 years older than me, she passed away a couple of years, and she took me with her 4 friends. She was 20, I was like 9.
Yeah.
To Kool and the Gang in Wallingford at the old Oakdale in the Round.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was before Celebration came out, but they played it that night.
Yeah.
But it was like Ladies' Night was the big hit that year.
So they played Celebrate, and everyone's like, "What the hell's this?"
It's a good song, but I never heard this before. Yeah, it was a little. And they would do costume changes, but there was no, they're in the round, so they'd have to go up the aisles, go somewhere, and come back down the aisles. It was great, but the drummer.
Yeah. He just died.
I heard about that.
Yeah, this year. I do like a year-end podcast wrap-up of people who died, and the original Kool and the Gang drummer died last year.
What was his name?
I don't remember.
Yeah, but he
George something.
I just remember being skeptical when I was going to Kool and the Gang because I was like, thought I was cool and I loved all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But blew me away.
Badass.
Oh, and the singer was so great too.
Like we saw Kool and the Gang. Me and my wife went to Oakdale.
Yeah.
It was dig this. It was the Spinners, Average White Band, and Kool and the Gang.
Oh wow!
And it was great. We both agreed. I was like, I would see this exact show again over as many times as you.
Oh, that must have been fantastic.
It was really good. It covered a lot of ground. Everybody was great.
Yeah.
Kool and the Gang. I said it, and then Paula goes. My wife goes, "Yeah, you're right." I said, everybody was great. Kool and the Gang had that headliner energy, though.
Yeah.
There was no mistake.
I've heard they still have it, so I'm not surprised.
Right. But you know how, you see bands and you're like, oh, these guys are pretty good. And then the headliner comes on and there's just something.
Yeah.
And they definitely had that. It was killer. It was great. Yeah. Song after song. Songs that you forgot.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even back then in 79, they just kept playing hits, they played the early stuff too. Oh man, such groove.
Yeah, cool.
So that's my early experience, and then I would come up with one more. It was like 7 years later. Zappa played the Bushnell Theater 2 nights in a row.
Oh boy.
Broadway the Hard Way tour it was called, and I went up the first night by myself, and I didn't have a ticket, and I get out of the car, my mom's car, like a Plymouth K car.
I had one of those.
Get out of the car, and I walk to the street, and this guy's like, "You need tickets?" I'm like, "Yeah, I need a ticket. I'm just one person." He's like, "Here you go. How much? $20."
Boom.
8th row, orchestra center.
Whoa.
And I'm just sitting there. It's like an hour before the show, and I just didn't leave my seat. I was young too. I was 17, and I watched Frank, who's right in front of me, for 2.5 hours. Wow. Chad Wackerman on drums, Scott Tunis on bass, Ed Mann on vibes.
Yeah.
I was a kid in the candy shop.
Yeah.
And they played Stairway to Heaven, and the horn section did the guitar solo.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
that's funny.
That blew me away.
Yeah.
So I went the next night with a friend of mine who went back to high school the next day. I'm like, I just saw Zappa last night, I think.
Yeah.
He's like, you're kidding me. I'm like, no, come, he's playing. And then we went, and we got scalp tickets, but they were up in the balcony.
Yeah.
But
and you were like, I was down there.
See who that guy was.
Yeah.
So there's my show.
That's killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would do it. That would definitely do it. Yeah, far out.
Yeah.
Far out. Yeah. All right. Well, I got one more. I have a new one. It's a new year. I have a new question.
Do it.
Favorite movies. Now, see, this is another thing. Another thing I've been thinking about. Just to kind of find out who's who, in the world.
I would have to say. I always think of myself as, I love.
Well, first of all, are you? Because I'm the kind of person, like, if I get on something, I'll watch the same movie 20 times
for the nuances and things,
yeah,
because you miss stuff.
Because not everybody's like that.
To me, Raging Bull is some of the best cinema ever.
Sure.
And I saw it when I was younger, and I saw it a month ago.
Yeah.
It holds up.
Oh, okay.
De
I haven't seen it in a
De
while.
Niro and oh my God.
Yeah.
And Kathy Moriarty. I mean, just the casting, the filming.
Sure.
That's my movie.
Yeah. That's it?
Oh, how many do you want?
I don't know. Yeah, no, I would go with that.
I like Forrest Gump too.
Yeah, sure. I saw the Iron Claw twice already.
Oh,
Have you heard about that? It was really good. I don't care about wrestling at all.
Right.
I don't know. I didn't know. Friends of mine were like, hey, we're going to see this flick. I'm like, yeah, sure. They were into wrestling. So they were, if anyone doesn't know, the Iron Claw, it's a wrestling family. And I didn't know thing one, like nothing.
Right.
And it says based on a true story. So, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I saw the guy. This guy from Shameless is in it.
Yeah.
His name.
Yeah, what's his face?
Yeah,
my
they
wife
all like
knows
bulked
him.
up and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Do you ever see The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke?
No, I missed it. I remember when it was around.
That's one to check out. And you may not, you don't have to be into wrestling, but
this was you didn't either. It just the filmmaking. It blew me away. I was just like, wow, this was really, really good.
I want to see that.
Yeah, so I told my wife, I was like, we should go see it. And she liked it.
Yeah.
It's a little grueling. She's just kind of like, that was great. I never want to see it again.
Right.
Without giving anything away. But
No.
But that was a good flick. I just was like, a good flick.
Yeah. That's still in the theater, right?
That wasn't CGI or a superhero flick. It was like, oh, hey, this is
real movie.
Yeah, it was really
few and
good.
far between these days, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, I don't. Maybe I'm not a cinema expert, but I thought this was like a real flick. I was like, wow, this is really, really good.
Cool. I will definitely check that out.
Yeah,
the Iron Claw.
Iron Claw. Yeah.
All right.
Whatever that's worth. All right. Well, you know what? I mean, we could get out of here.
Let's do it, man.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. Scott McDonald, drummer. Look for him. So tell us who.
Jeremy Lichter Trio, and the Mike Savino thing is Penny Happy Sally.
Oh, okay.
And Tom Izzo and Frank Annunziata are the Mediums.
Yeah.
And I'll be playing with them when they're in the band version.
Yeah. Killer.
Come out and check it out.
Yeah. For sure. All right. Well, you know what? Yeah, we'll get Savino in here.
Yeah, I'll tell him about it.
Yeah, I'll have to bolt some things down though. I'm looking around. There's too many loose things around here.
Oh man.
All right. Well, you don't have headphones on, so I'm pressing the button.
Okay.
What you will hear is the theme song written and played by Tom Izzo and myself, but you'll never hear it because you don't have the headphones on. So
I'll hear it when I watch this.
It sounds really good. Yeah, you hear that? Whoa, it's really loud. All right. Hold on. There it is. Okay, John Peckman Podcast. Wow, that's really too loud. Hey, check that out, kids.
It's getting psychedelic.
Yeah, sorry. John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over to Bridge. All right. Hey, Happy New Year. I think we said that last time. But thank you, Scott McDonald. Listen, Dave will tell you how to have your very own podcast here in our studio. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me, John.
I appreciate
it, man.
All right, that is all.
Later.
If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at convalley.net/podcast.